Today's lesson is Chapter 7, Ratio, Proportion and Rate. And in this video, we will start by the first section, which is ratios. So what is a ratio? A ratio is a way of comparing the sizes of quantities in the same mixture, mainly two quantities or more. And where we use ratios in real life? We'll have plenty of use of ratio in real life. For example, when mixing colors, we need to know what is the relationship of the quantities I'm using to make a color. Making dark colors is very different than making light colors. If I'm making dark blue, the quantity for black is bigger than the quantity for blue color. When making medications, we need to be very careful when using chemicals, because we may by accident make the drug toxic for patients. The last use that I'm mentioning here is food recipes. If I'm making a cake, they will tell me to use 2 cups of flour, 1 cup of sugar, and etc. etc. So you need to follow these ratios to make a good cake, else I will get a very bad result. Okay. Now let's focus on this example. Kyoka is preparing fruit juice. She's used 200 milliliter of mango juice and 300 milliliter of apple juice. So if I would like to write the ratio of the two types of juice, it will be mango juice, apple juice, 200, 300. Here, be careful that I'm separating the two quantities by 2 dots here. And I'm doing the same thing between the numbers. So this is the correct way of writing a ratio. And we won't leave it like that, because it's not the simplest form of a ratio. So I need to write it in a simpler way, in the simplest way. So as you can see here, I have 200 and 300. The highest common factor between 200 and 300 is 100. So if I will divide 200 by 100, it will be 2, and 300 simplifies to 3. So this one is the simplest form of the ratio, and in exercises they often ask you to write in the simplest form. So this is what you need to do in every exercise. Now, this is one way to write the ratio, and the importance of ratio here is that I know if I don't have, for example, I'm not measuring the quantities in milliliters. I know that if I'm using 2 cups of mango juice, I only need to use 3 cups of apple juice. 2 units of mango juice, I need to use 3 units of apple juice, the same units, okay? So, yeah. So another thing, wait, I need to make this disappear. Yeah, another thing here is this is one way of writing a ratio here. So is this the only way of writing ratios? No, we have 3 ways of writing ratios. So the first one is the one that I showed in the previous example. The second one is to replace the 2 dots here by 2. So I only need to write mango juice to apple juice, or 200 to 300, or 2 to 3, 2 units to 3 units of these juices. The third way to write a ratio is to write it as a fraction. So it will be written like that: a mango juice over apple juice, or 200 over 300, or use the simplest form, 2 over 3. All right. Now, when writing ratios, we need to make sure that we are using the same units. It means we need to convert the quantities to same units if we have 2 different units. Okay, so let's look at this example. So if they ask you to express 25 minutes to 1 hour as a ratio, in its simplest form, I need to follow these steps. So the first step is to convert 1 hour to minutes. So we know that 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes. Second step is to write the ratio by substituting 1 hour by 60 minutes. So the last step is to simplify it. We don't leave it like that because we see that 25 and 60 have common factors. So the highest common factor between 25 and of 25 and 60 is 5. So if I would divide 25 by 5, it's 5, and 60 divided by 5 is 12. So 5 to 12 is the simplest form of this ratio. Okay. Now, a very important thing to know about ratios is that it will allow me to write the quantities as fractions of the whole mixture. It means you can express ratio in its simplest form as portions of the quantity, the whole quantity, by expressing the whole numbers in the ratio as fractions with the same denominators. So the denominator that we are using here, we will use is the sum of the two numbers in the ratio, and the numerator of each portion will be the number that represents that quantity. So let's return to the example of juice. So Kyoko is using 2 mango units and 3 apple units. So as you can see, I have 2 units for mango, 3 units for apple. So the whole number of units is 5. So the denominator of the fraction should be 5, and the numerator for example, for the mango juice should be 2, because 2 represent the quantity for mango juice. And if they ask you what is the portion, or what is the fraction, or what is what the apple juice represents in the juice, it will be 3/5. So because I'm using 3 units for that juice to make the fruit juice, the mixture, the whole, the big quantity of juice. Okay, so this is the last part that you need to understand in this lesson.